not singing? We should sing.
I don't know. I was just asking you how you normally start.
I know,
but
well, that's the beauty.
like yesterday, Dylan and Jeffrey and I started our show with Happy Alligator Day.
It's Alligator Day.
It was yesterday. It only comes twice a month.
Wait, what?
It's just stupid. But it does. We don't normally. I don't know if you like do some weird thing.
No, there's no. We can do anything. Are we going? Have we been recording? So we did our weird thing. Happy Alligator Day, based on what you did.
Yeah, that was yesterday. Yesterday was Alligator Day.
Do you have a go-to song that you sing? Like, is there like your favorite song to sing?
Oh yeah. What's Up by Four Non Blondes.
Which is not the hit.
That is the hit. They only have one song.
No, that's what I thought. That's called What's Up? I thought What's Going On?
That's what it should be called.
But it's not called that?
I know.
Wow.
It's called what?
We all thought
it's definitely not called What's Going On, because I wanted to be called that, and then you have to look it up on. Look it up.
It's
on
not
Spotify.
called Hey Yeah Yeah Yeah. Hey Yeah Yeah
That
Yeah
makes more
Yeah.
sense, doesn't it?
You would think it's just called What's Up. That's not even a lyric.
Yep. What's Up by Four Non Blondes.
Ooh. Yeah, there was a lot of cooing.
It's confusing.
That was a good. You were young when that came out.
Yeah, I really like that era of music. I like Lilith Fair kind of music. I love Natalie Merchant.
Oh, but who does? I mean, it's Natalie Merchant.
Who doesn't?
I mean, that's a barometer you can hold. Like, hey, what do you think of Natalie Merchant? If anyone's like, no, thank you,
Well,
be
most
like,
people
I don't think.
don't know who Natalie Merchant is from my age group.
But do they not know the name? Because I would think those songs have been in so much.
Yeah, I think they don't know the name, and then you play some music, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I know that song."
Right.
But yeah, like Natalie Merchant. I really like what's her face? Who's the gay one?
Which one in that group? In
I
Lilith
know.
Fair group, which one? Melissa Etheridge?
Melissa Etheridge. When I was a kid, I used to sing all those songs, and my mom was afraid I would become a lesbian.
Like, she actively was worried? Like, you think she really...
told me that as an adult. She's like, you were so into Melissa Etheridge. I was like, hope she doesn't become a lesbian.
What's funny is your mom thinks you become a lesbian.
Well, yeah, you got to grow into it. You know,
I guess, yeah.
Because you're like void of sex, I think.
So it's just like all of a sudden, like, those doors are opening.
Yeah, because my mom also had that concept. I remember when my friends came out as gay, she'd be like, who are they having sex with? That was always like, she's like, are they having sex? And I'd be like, no. And she's like, well, then they're not gay. If you're not having sex, you are nothing.
But that means, like, you're also not straight.
Yeah.
That's interesting. How old were you, and how old was your friend when they came out?
My first friend that came out as gay was probably like 16. Yeah.
And was there any other gays?
Oh, yeah.
You were small town, right?
We were a small town, but we had gays. It was the millennial era is, I think, when like they really started. There's a guy at my school, William Rainbow. He was awesome. Shout out to William Rainbow.
William Rainbow.
He was my lab partner.
That was his real name? Because you
no,
couldn't have asked for a better...
I don't know what his real name is. But he went by William Rainbow.
Billy Rainbow.
He dressed... It was so funny. He identified as gay, but he dressed like a woman. He would wear like these little denim mini skirts and like kind of like emo goth girl clothes.
And this is small town Northeast, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that seems of all the places like we hold on to old culture, but it seems like it went well if he's wearing that to school, like it was understanding.
It wasn't like people were understanding. It was definitely half and half. I'm from Maryland, and Maryland is a blue state, but I grew up in Carroll County, which is the only red part of the whole blue state. So they were very conservative, but there was plenty of like liberalness around to understand. Like, it's only 45 minutes to get to Baltimore City.
Okay.
I mean, it's a small state in general.
Right. That's interesting.
You didn't have like openly gay kids at your school?
Well, you know what? There was one, and I was 10 years before you, probably, so in high school and stuff. And I remember it was interesting. There was one that was straight up openly gay. And I did a number of theater things with him, and a very nice guy. And then I remember there was one guy that like we all thought and knew, and now has come out.
Yeah.
But then didn't and wasn't. But I remember thinking like, these poor gay guys, like there's no one, who are they with? They have no, like, by the time I'm a junior in high school, I've had 3, 4, 5 girlfriends. and
Yeah.
and had those experiences in love and sex and whatever the things were. And I'm like, what? These poor guys.
Yeah.
But I think they were doing fine.
Sex.
Yeah, kind of like the band.
And also, of all the gay people like specifically gay men that I've talked to as adults, there is a sort of like adventure to it. Like, I know I have friends who are like, yeah, I was 15 and I would go to like trucker stops so that I could meet men. Like, it's just, there is this sort of element of like, if I want it, I'll find it.
Yeah.
And for
and
men,
it's there.
And also as a man, like your parents aren't as worried about you.
That's a good point.
And with girls, there, like there's slumber parties. There's a lot of opportunity to keep it on the DL.
Slumber parties, which is every teenage boy's fantasy of what's happening at a slumber party.
Yeah, but normally the women that were doing that are not. Because a lot of the hot lesbians don't come out till later because they're just following like the hot girl regime. Like, I'm a hot girl, I'm supposed to date a hot guy, status. You know how high school is.
Yeah.
So the hot lesbians
what cool moves
stay
can I make?
straight for a while.
Yeah, that's an interesting take. And then the question is, do they ever go full? Do they get like, are those the ones that end up being more bi because their younger years were
Well, I think
muddled?
It's confusing because each generation is different. Like now there's this whole bi, like not even bi, what is it?
It's just fluid and
gender non-discriminating, whatever.
Poly? No, not what's the one where you sleep with anybody?
That's poly, right? No, that's
poly's
pansexual.
Pansexual, yeah.
And I think some of that is for attention.
And fun.
And fun. But it's like the idea of an identity. I think that's the problem in the first place, is having your identity be wrapped around like who you're literally. Like my mom's not completely wrong. If you're not fucking someone, what does it really mean?
Yeah, what is it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just for someone else.
And how do you actually, like, in a weird way, how do you know? Because I do think, like, as a straight man, there are attractive men. Mm-hmm. I don't want to sleep with them. But I can and so I wonder, like, especially when you're young and it's confusing, especially now in a world, like, I can see being young and being, even if you are straight, but what is straight? What is the spectrum? And now the world's telling you that, like, the spectrum's even bigger than it ever was. Yeah. And you're like, well, I do feel a little weird when Ryan Reynolds talks to me through the screen. Like, I do have an attraction to, because I can understand what beauty is. I know that a mountain is beautiful, and I know that Ryan Reynolds is beautiful, and I know that Christina Aguilera is gorgeous and can sing well and turns me on too. So it's like now there were oddly like more social pressure, where when I was younger it was like gay wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. Like it was like, you're gay.
It was this idea of difference.
And now it's like, well, I'm not gay, but society tells me I could be anything.
But I think the reality of the problem of that is how much, as a straight man, how much do you feel like your straightness is who you are?
None.
Right. But as for so many people who they want to fuck or who they think it's now like the forefront of who they are. And I think it's really limiting to people.
I thought about that the other day, because you see like your friend was wearing skirts and this and that, and it's like, that's fine, that's who you are. But there's so much, like, this sounds weird. There's a woman whose child, I don't know if she teaches at the school or she works at the school or she has a kid that goes to the school. But her hair is rainbow colors, which is great. And you can tell when you look at her, she is part of the community of not straight.
Yes.
Right? I don't know where within that, but you can tell. And there's part of me, it's like, if you're wearing the flag as your head, how much of your identity is that now, as opposed to, I'm this person that does these things, and I have these interests and these likes, and these are my hobbies, and this is my career, and I also happen to be gay. Yeah, as opposed to, I'm gay, and I do these other things, but I'm gay first. That seems interesting that I feel like I see that in people now more, and part of me is like, is that limiting? Because you have to be gay first. Or that's at least what I get as a,
I think that is. I think it's interesting. I think it's such a weird situation, because also now I'm seeing like, there's this whole push. Young kids are transitioning really young. And I have a friend whose daughter has, like, every other day she's a different gender. And he's like, I don't care what you are, but could we just, like, pick one?
Which even that, like, but again, it's like, no, today I'm a this. It's like, well, just be. I want to think of like a gender neutral name or whatever. But like.
Sam.
Sam. Just be Sam, and whatever you do. And again, if you're not fucking or whatever,
if you're not having sex, it's hard. It's hard for me to like latch on, like, because I mean, and that's the way my mom saw it. But it is hard for me to be like, well, how much does it really matter if you're not like putting pieces in holes, like?
and even like I'm this today. Well, what does that mean? What you're male today, you're a man today, but tomorrow you're a woman, and then the next day you're non-binary. What is that? And I found this fascinating in the whole conversation with this whole thing is like, trans women are women and trans men are men. And it's like, okay, but like I thought we were working to get away from the male-female stereotype or the man-woman stereotype.
Yes.
And part of me looks at stuff as like, well, you were born male. Man, we made up. Yeah. Male-female is biology to carry on the species, right? Mm-hmm. Those are the only two that we see out there. And so, but man, woman, we created, our consciousness created over the last hundreds of thousands or whatever years of what man, woman is. And then we created these man, woman gender roles. Mm-hmm. And now it's like, well, I identify as a man. It's like, well, what does that mean? Because I thought we were trying to break down what man was and open up those terms to be less like this is a man does this, and a woman is this. Mm-hmm. But now it's like now we're like creating the boxes again to be like, no, I identify as that now.
I think which
is confusing to me.
It's part of a larger issue. Like the whole idea of gender identity, sexual identity is part of this larger thing of that you have to have an identity at all. Mm-hmm. Like if my race isn't who I am, my gender isn't who I am, like it's about the choices you make. But people want to like put all these boxes because then they don't have to make choices. It's all part of a big capitalism branding scheme, personally.
You think?
Yeah. Well, look at your Instagram. What you see on Instagram is different than what I see on Instagram,
right?
Because all your identity factors are different than mine because they want to sell you the person who checks all those boxes, your thing. And they want to sell me the person who checks all these boxes and other things. So us all saying I'm A, B, C, D, all these things is just helping them sell us things, which is the ultimate goal.
Right.
And to think that it's more than that is crazy because you're not who you have sex with. You're not the color of your skin. You're not how much money you make.
Right.
None of that's real. You're like the things you do.
Yeah. And the things you do when no one's looking.
Mm-hmm, especially,
that's you. Yeah, the character. You are whatever your character is,
mm-hmm.
and not like in a literary sense, but like what? Like, do you have character when no one's looking? Are you doing the right thing? Are you helping people? Are you making the world a better place? Or are you selfish and all that? You're right, and that's all happening. But now it's like people. I am this. I'm part of this group. Or
because then you don't have to make it. There's no blame. If I did something, it's because, my parents did this, or this is the way I was raised, or this is I'm part of this group, and that's just what we do. It takes away the personal choice. Now it's my collection of identity things has factored who I am.
That's sad.
It is sad.
And I also feel like there's definitely...
That's the world we live in.
It is crazy
that's what red versus blue is in politics. I don't want to actually make a decision.
But I'm on this team, so this is what I do. And you know what? I'm not crazy on this team.
No.
So, because I'm on this team, I have to vote this way, or I have to do these things because I am on this team. Oh, I hate the teams. The teams piss me off because I think most people aren't actually on those teams. I think most people are on the purple in the middle. Mm-hmm.
They're
most
all on
things.
the Ravens.
They're all on the It's so natural that you brought up a sports reference because I never would have.
Okay.
What else? I don't know.
That was a weird way to start.
This was a great podcast. Thanks for coming. No, that's the whole thing. We drove longer
anticipating running into sexual identity
from
like
the
just
start.
off the jump.
Yeah.
Both of us like straightish people.
Yeah. I don't like which. That's it's one of those things. It's like, well, should we even be having this conversation? And it's like, yeah, because I don't know.
Let's talk about Jews next.
I love them. They've been a part of my life, my whole life. I love Jews. I'm pro. I'm pro Jews.
I really like lox, so I'm all about Jewish food. Like I love bat mitzvahs, bar mitzvahs.
So
I want to
good.
go to all of them. I want to put people in chairs and lift them above me.
I do.
I want to be lifted in a chair above everyone else.
Yeah. I want to find the matzah as a kid.
Yes.
I want to run all over the house and find the matzah on Passover.
I want to do fun games. I want my grandmother to give me guilt. I
just enough. Maybe tone it down, but like just enough.
It's a good religion.
And no hell.
Yeah, they don't have hell.
No hell.
They're very sexually liberated.
Are they?
I mean, every Jewish person I've known has no sexual shame whatsoever because there's no hell.
Interesting.
No hell is very liberating altogether.
Yeah. But you were raised more religious than I was.
I was raised pretty religious.
Pretty religious. Yeah. So if Jews the Jewish people do not have hell, what is the what is the guiding fact? Like, I don't think you need heaven and hell to have morals. Like, I don't think you have to. I think you kind of know what's right and wrong. Is something hurting another person or not hurting or helping another person? But what is like, Catholics are like, no, you're going to, like, my mom, 78 years old now, still sometimes tells me, like, oh, like, when your dad got sick, we had cousins that called and were like, he needs a priest or he's going to burn in hell forever and it's your fault. And she hadn't believed since she was 16 years old. My dad hadn't believed since they were teenagers. But my mom at 60-something years old was like, but what if he does burn in hell forever and it's my fault? Because it was still so entrenched.
Well, it's also like this kind of just dichotomy. Like Christianity is very dualistic. As much as they don't want to say it is, because they'll say, oh, it's a monotheistic religion. But it is very like, God is good, the devil is bad.
Mm-hmm. And everything bad is the devil.
You look in the Bible, there's like almost nothing about the devil.
Really?
There's stuff about Lucifer, but even that is just a scratch. That's like the New Testament.
The PR team got a hold of the devil and really started cranking out.
Yeah, there's this whole element of, God, be godlike or you're going to hell. And you're of the devil. Whereas you look at the Old Testament, it is more just and like I think this is where I don't know enough about Judaism, but then you look at the Old Testament, it's more like Judaism. There is this element of we're rising above our animalistic nature. Like to be like God is to rise above your human animal that you are.
Right. The dog eat dog world.
Yeah. And a lot of religions kind of like that. Like there's, the chakra system. Like down here is your vagina and your dick are. That's your animal.
That's the devil.
Yeah, I mean, and you could call it the devil, but it's all about perspective. It's like, no, this is where I started, but this is where I'm going. I need to ascend.
Which makes sense. The consciousness is ascending and rising above the instinctual animalistic needs of which...
You're not denying your animal nature.
Right, because we do have to procreate.
Yes.
But also you have the awareness to observe the animalistic nature and say, yes, I want to breed. Yes, I want to make sure my family is fed and my lineage goes on, while also I'm aware that there's enough to go around.
Yes. And that there's other work to be done other than just fucking.
And what is that work?
I mean, like, there's plenty of people who don't have kids that they're going to go on forever because they make an impact on you and me.
Yeah.
That's part of the ascension. Just because their genetic line no longer exists doesn't mean that their energy is done. So I think Christianity is limiting. They cut that off, this idea that there's this infinite ascension. They go, no, God is that way, the devil's that way, and you're human, and you have to join this side.
But also, you're a sinner from day one.
Exactly.
You are horrible. You need to, redemption and
you have
ask
no
for
power.
forgiveness.
They take away the power, and you're not ascending. You have to give yourself up to God, or you have to give yourself specifically to Jesus.
Right.
Whereas a lot of people look at Jesus as like as a map. Like maybe I don't have to. Of course, giving yourself up to Jesus is the same thing, but also what would Jesus do? You really break it down is I should be becoming Jesus-like. That should be the goal, but that's not how most Christians look at it.
How do you
Jesus
think
has to save me.
And I have to ask for forgiveness every day.
Mm-hmm. And it goes back to that team thing. Now I don't have the responsibility.
And as long as I ask for forgiveness, all's forgiven.
Yeah.
I always thought that was
interesting.
interesting.
I believe the right thing.
Yeah. Even if I don't do it every day.
Even if I don't do it
But I come here, I sit in the room, I go into the little room, and I tell the priest all the things I did wrong.
Yeah.
And I ask for forgiveness, and then I pray to the rosary, and I'm good. That was always interesting. I think my dad, I remember he told me, and then it was in the movie Dogma, if you remember that with Matt Damon and Ben the Kevin Smith movie, where he was like, he went on this killing spree knowing, and the storyline of that wasn't confession, but it was that one priest, George Carlin played him, where if you walk through the doorway of this church, all is forgiven.
Yes.
And so Loki was his name. That was Loki. Wasn't that Matt Damon's character, Loki?
They named him Loki. I haven't seen that movie in a while.
But then he went on this crazy mass. He was just killing everybody.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, but everything's going to be fine. And I'm going to walk through and everything's great. And I think that's sad. And there's always the memes of people like coming out of church where it's like, oh, just sat through a beautiful thing where I praise Jesus. And now I'm going to cut people off and give them the finger in the parking lot as I leave.
Yeah, it's really Christianity like puts all these lines up, these barriers. Like God lives, the church is God's home. God's everywhere.
Right.
Jesus is, you have access, it's like meditation. You have access to Jesus, meditation, all these things everywhere. You should be doing it when you're in the worst situations. But we put up these boundaries because you can feel it there. Because the symbolism's there, and so you fall into the thing, and it's like you can feel it, and you're like, oh, this is the only place he is, and it's like, no, he's everywhere all the time,
right.
and
you
need to be
forest?
accessing this. You need to be accessing this when you're in traffic,
right?
Not when you can only feel it. That's the real work. But a lot of people don't want to do that, so it's just easier to like, oh, I did A, B, C. I mean,
I check the boxes.
It all
I'm a
comes
good
back
Christian.
to the same thing.
Yeah. And that's one, like, I know, like, we weren't raised religious, but what's funny is my dad has a cousin who at one point was, he had multiple cousins that were nuns. Mm-hmm. And at one point, one of the nuns, who's still alive, she's like 90-something, Sister Mary Jen. She was like the head of all nuns in North America, like the head of the nuns. And what was interesting is when my dad got sick, we had cousins and all these people from the Midwest calling, being like literally one of them called a local priest and sent, like, my mom opened the door and there was a priest and he kind of like pushed his way in and was like, let's pray together. And my mom like did it because she didn't want to be rude, but her husband's like non-responsive, dying in a bed in her bed in our house. And this priest is there and he's just kind of like taking over, and my mom felt bad, and my mom actually told me that like at one point she's standing there with the priest, my dad's laying there in the bed, and the priest is praying, and my mom was angry at herself because she knew that if he actually could hear what was going on, he would not want this to be happening. And she felt so guilty because she knew he wouldn't want this, yet she felt so weirdly guilty to also, or rude to tell him no thank you. And then he was and it was just so weird. But then my mom called Sister Mary Jen and was like, I don't, you know where we stand. You've known Chris his whole life, my dad. Mm-hmm. You know where he stood. I don't know what to do because I'm getting these phone calls with these people telling me these horrible things, and it's all my fault. And what was crazy is the one person that I thought, and my mom thought, would be the most, you should get a priest in there. He needs to get his last rites. He da-da-da-da. The Lord needs to da-da-da. No. She was the only one that was like, Kathy, he's a good man. He's going to be fine. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's amazing. That blew my mind and opened it up of like, she is the ascension of, he's a good man. That's all he had to do was be that. The rest of this, the thing that the cousin's worried about, that's his baggage. Yeah. That's him clinging on. They're like, no, if you don't check all the boxes, you're not a good Catholic. It doesn't count unless da-da-da, And it was just as very interesting. And that gave my mom such peace that after that, she was like, y'all can pound sand. Like, we're doing this our way, da-da-da-da. But it was really interesting because I remember my mom telling me, like, I'm going to call, Sister Mary Jen and see. And I was like, I don't know if this is going to help. Like, is this only going to add to my mom's guilt? And then she was like the coolest of the whole thing. And then, like you said before, like the symbolism of like walking into a church. Like, we didn't grow up religious at all. I love a good church. Yeah. Churches are amazing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's designed, the symbolism, go look at the churches. There's so much ingrained symbolism
everywhere.
I mean, it's in the government. It's everywhere. But in a church, it is pressing all these buttons to get you like, okay, now you're in the place where you can accept God, where you're ready, like,
and where God lives, which we kind of get the church designed it in a way of like we control the space where God lives.
Yep.
And so when he's here, when you're here, that's where he is.
Yeah.
Like I remember, there were two things that was probably one of the most spiritual things that ever happened to me when I was young. Was one of my dad's cousins died, and we went up to Red Wing, Wisconsin, right up in there, and we went to this funeral, and there was 150 nuns at this funeral, and they all sang.
Yeah.
And you are in this big, beautiful, old church, hearing 150 nuns. There was a band of nuns playing instruments, and 150 nuns like singing. And at 8 years old, like it was just full goosebumps of like, this is like, is God real? Like, I don't, it was just this like next level. I want to say I like felt the spirit, but it was crazy. Like it was definitely a thing. And it's like, well, if we were sitting in a middle school gymnasium, would I have felt this? No. Because it was this building and the stained glass and Christ hanging on the cross and, like all the intricate detail of everything, and every panel on the wall is the disciples and the people and the whatever. And I remember at 8, just like it blew my mind. It was crazy.
I think it's more powerful than that. You say if you were in a middle school gymnasium, you wouldn't have felt that, but you bring all those people together singing in unison, with the same intention and feeling. You feel that. I mean, I grew up in one of those Christian rock churches.
Yeah.
You feel it there. There's no symbolism. It's just blank walls.
That's true. It is different. I dated a girl after college that we lived like 3 hours apart, and anytime I would go to in Fort Lauderdale where she lived, we would go to church on Sunday morning. She went to like a rock and roll Jesus church, and I got to the point where like we dated long enough that I was singing the songs.
You sing the songs, I was into it. You feel it.
It was good stuff, and the message is good, and the pastor's wearing jeans and a polo shirt, and it's very chill.
You do lose a lot of, from my perspective, I think of church or religion in general as like school. Like it's not for everyone, doesn't learn the same way.
Yeah.
But we do all need to learn the basic tenets of the things, like to be good to others. All the messages. Fantastic messages. But people need to learn them in different ways. So like some people are ADHD. They need like a teacher sitting right over their head. And you need all the real symbolism. Do you need to go speak to the priest and do confession or your rosary beads? And some people it's like don't need all that. And then some people just never leave school. Is the other thing. Yeah, that's the element. It's like at some point you should be able to commune with God without the training wheels.
Yeah. That's a good point. And that's kind of what the church is a training wheels that keeps you upright and on the path. Do you remember the movie Stigmata?
I never saw that.
It's loosely, it's like there's a priest that is in charge of investigating miracles. And in some, like, I forget where the town was, but in some old religious town, like a local saint or something died, and some kid with like no money, like a street kid, steals the rosary from this like very old holy man and sells it on the street to like some tourist gal. And then she goes back to, I think, New York or something, wherever. Yeah, I think it was New York. And she goes back home and and then she ends up like getting possessed by this guy.
Yeah.
And the priest that like he's supposed to be investigating, but he's like lost his faith in like the whole thing. And then he's like, going to investigate her because I forget how it all tied together, but I remember in it was like, it was like they found like the initial writings of Christ of like, I know I'm not going to get it right, but it was like, lift a rock and you will find me, split a piece of wood and I am there. Where it's just like, it's all me. It's all everything, da-da-da. And I remember as a not religious kid that saw this when I was like 19, 20 years old, I didn't speak for 2 hours. My girlfriend and I at the time went to this movie, and afterwards we're like the whole car ride home, and for the next 2 hours, I couldn't speak. I was just so wrapped up in this concept, and I was like, I know this is a movie, but the message that it was just connected of like, this is all everything. And I think that was the first time I realized like, oh, there's like God that the church and what my mom grew up with, like, that's God. God is this. He's watching. He knows all. He has a plan for you. None of this is even up to you unless you let the devil in. Like, there's a whole path for you, da-da-da-da. And then this was the first time I was like, no. Like, it's all, everywhere you look is God. And everywhere you look is an opportunity for grace, or I don't know what the opposite of grace is, but like, you know, it's like goodness or hurt
or missed
pain.
opportunity.
Yeah. And that one hit me, and it was just weird that like a movie could hit me that hard. But it was the first time I was like, oh God, like maybe I just need to redefine what God is, because this whole time I'm doing the guy in the sky.
Well, yeah, you're putting this like, okay, so if God is everything, if it's the universe, you know, just whatever, like if we're all one organism, like everything that is like one giant organism, and then God is the brain, or
even just the connection.
Beyond, or the connect. Yeah, and I think like the brain, I think like, you know, it's starfish. They don't have like one brain. Their whole body is the brain and stuff like that.
Starfish?
I think it's
really?
starfish. They're like smaller organisms, and the whole thing is the brain. So think of like the whole object. Like there's this phenomenon when someone learns something in one part of the world, there's someone else in the other part of the world learning it as well. Like for the first time. Like it's not, and just
like that's chance. A real thing.
That's
like
a real
science
thing.
has shown that like if this is happening here somewhere,
everyone's
opposite.
on the same level. We're like mushrooms. We're all connected by something underneath. You know, like that's beyond genetics. That's beyond even like this face to face. We're all on some same schedule.
And I've gotten too high or been on mushrooms and had this thought. Like right now in this room, let's start with this room. Right now, I'm made of molecules. You're made of molecules. We know that, right? The molecule has the nucleus in the middle, or that's cells. Cells are made of molecules. Either way, there's the electron.
Yeah.
Flapping around the outside of the molecule. And they jump molecule to molecule at all times. But my molecules are all in this order to make a this. And this thing, the table's molecules are all in table form. And Sam molecules are all in Sam form. But between the two of us, there's nitrogen and oxygen and carbon dioxide and all these other things that we just don't see and act like it's not here. But there's a whole bunch of tiny molecules that has me connected to you.
Yeah.
And there's electrons that you and I have already passed between us, because they're going all to everything, including the camera stand and the computer and the thing there. And if you really think about it, then it goes to the wall, and then the wall is connected to the outside of the molecules to that, and then the road and somebody driving in a car. So we've already passed an electron from you to me to him to the car to the person in the car. That person's passing it. Like we are all literally connected.
Yes.
With this electric field, which is electrical pulses, which is ones and zeros, which is how a computer works.
Yep.
Which means it's all a simulation.
You can say it's all simulation, but a simulation is just, it's like religion. You're just putting concepts that you understand onto something that's bigger than what we could even make up. Like, how could you know what the bigger picture is for just one piece of it?
Yeah.
So we make these portion pieces. And
because we have to make sense of it.
It's like perspective. Like anyone's perspective is like, my reality is different than your reality, and we could fight about that all day.
Right. Doesn't mean either of us are wrong.
And doesn't mean either of us are right.
Yeah.
It's just, so it's doesn't, I think religion's just like everyone trying to put words to something that we all know. Some people, when you go into like, oh, it's just the universe, there is a higher being, there is something higher than us that we're ascending to. Religion sometimes keeps them from that, like.
Because it creates boundaries.
Then they can't look at it that way. And like, no, it's just Jesus, or no, it's
right.
Yeah. And so then that's when it starts to not do anyone any favors. It's like, well, now you can't ascend because you've trapped yourself.
I feel like that was my grandma.
Yeah.
I had one grandma who was extremely, like, I want to say extremely religious. Like at 85, I remember she scared the shit out of me one time. She was in town for Christmas. And I woke up and like went to the bathroom or something. And I was in high school, I think, maybe middle school. And she was staying in the guest room across the hall from me. And it's like 2:00 in the morning. And I just hear Jesus, God, Christ, James, Kathy. I'm like, what the fuck?
What? She was praying?
Yeah, she was on her knees at 80-something years old, praying the rosary for my family because she knew that we didn't go to church, and she thought like we were all going to go to hell. Like she secretly baptized all of us as babies in like a kitchen sink because she was like, they're going to go to hell.
Do that?
She just had some holy water.
Oh.
And just, was like, I'm going to save these kids.
That's funny.
And, but I remember at the time it was kind of scary because she was like, literally like, please protect them. Please, they don't know, like, don't let them go to hell. Like, and it's 2 a.m. I'm half awake. Mm-hmm. And my grandma, who's 80s on her knees, like with the rosary and just every other bead and like she's going through it. And it was just like, I'd never seen anything like that. But for her,
it's real.
It was so real. But as I got older, I realized for her, though, it was both. It was what allowed her and gave her strength to get through things, while also it was the exact thing that kept her from opening her mind to other things.
Yeah, I mean, in reality, like, because I don't pray, but I manifest and journal about, like, what I want my future to be. What's the difference?
Yeah. And yeah, what is it? And even meditation, like, what's the difference? Like, do you haven't set intentions?
Yeah.
There you go.
I think it's all the same. It's just if you decide, it's when you start like accusing someone like, well, you don't pray the right way.
Right. If you don't do what I do.
It's not doing you any favors. But it's like there were probably a lot of prayers of hers that came true because she was praying. Because it's like, what is the difference between praying and manifesting?
Right.
It's really the same exact idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
I manifest my parents having good health. That's praying.
Yeah. Yeah. You're asking or just putting it out there. You're creating that positive energy for sure.
So, yeah, I don't think any of it's wrong. It's just when you say something's wrong.
Until you start trying to control how someone else is doing a thing.
Yeah, you can't dictate how people commune with God, which is like what the whole country's supposed to be built off of.
Right.
So
but somehow
it's managed to go a different way.
I know I just heard somebody else. Did you say this? Somebody else had a joke about. Oh, what was it? Oh, it was really dark. But I remember I always thought like everyone that has a problem with abortion. I'm like, guess who's having them? The people that are okay with it. And maybe if the side that doesn't want abortions just calm down, maybe the abortion people would just abort themselves out of it, like. Which is not, again, like you're protecting the babies and the whatever, and it's such a hot topic of, especially here. I mean, it's interesting, like I know I've talked to people in California I was like, hey, like, would you consider like Austin? And if like people got an apartment, and they're like, I could never live there because of this. And I'm like, well, that's limiting.
Yeah. I don't know. Abortion's an interesting one because it's like, I don't think taking a life is a good thing. Mm-hmm. But I also... There's plenty of times people are sitting on the side of the road and ask me to buy them dinner, and I don't. What if they die that night? Did I kill them?
Do they need a blanket and I had one?
So it's like, what's the difference? One is more direct than the other. Is it? It is one of those. You have to kind of can you live with?
Yeah. And
I mean, we're all going to sin. That's we're all going to fall short of the glory. Sin literally means to fall short. It doesn't mean to do something bad. You did not reach your ascension. To sin is to not achieve godlikeness.
I didn't know that.
It's to fall short. So that's what sin is. We do that all the time. You can do that without even acting.
You can
and that's why we're the idea of you're born into sin. Yeah, you're born human. And then when you look at it that way, then it's like, well, that's where you get this whole Judaism, there's no hell. It's like, well, I'm living in hell. I'm trying to achieve heaven here on earth.
Which is possible.
It is possible, but it's like a constant.
Right.
It's an evolution.
And you can go back and forth. I mean, there's something so magical about, like, I love like hell on earth, heaven on earth. And I totally believe that because there have been times when just full despair, depression, anxiety, all the things just pile on. And it's amazing how, and it's only our awareness, because like there's no golden retriever anywhere that's worried about how golden retriever they are, or if they're the right kind of golden retriever. Like, the golden retriever that barks at everybody, and then the golden retriever that doesn't bark at it. Like, neither of them are wondering, like, am I barking enough?
Am I not barking enough?
Yeah. Am I not barking enough? Am I barking too much? Am I a golden retriever? But what kind of golden retriever am I? And that's like the beauty of that is like it is. And then we have the awareness. We have that spark of consciousness of like, I could have given that person food or money or a blanket or I could have given myself, as weird as it sounds. And I love like the internet has this everywhere. It's like, there's all these memes now and things of like, talk to yourself like you would talk to your friends. Like we all, I say this like a blanket statement, but like we're all probably way meaner to ourselves than we would be to anyone we know at times. And it's the kind of thing where like when you were talking about sin and it's like, it's falling short. It's like, well, wow, I've never looked at it from the perspective like every morning when I wake up, I know I should eat healthy. I should exercise. I should be active. I should be kind. I should try to leave my community and my life and the people around me in a better state than when I found them, when I woke up. And when I wake up and just decide to drink coffee and not do anything or not work out that day, and then did I really decide or did I just kind of let it go by?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that I didn't rise to my potential. I didn't rise to that thing. And I'd never connected that to like, I'm falling short for myself. And in a weird way that is, I had this conversation with my mom the other day. And it was after the conversation we had with Derek that night. That conversation really we talked about it when I was on his podcast. We talked about that for 30 minutes about like, Derek dropped this bomb on me and now I feel like I'm a fraud and what am I doing? But it was very much this thing of like, and you kind of touched on a thing earlier, is like, well, everyone's path will be different. And how you get to where you're going, even though whatever your plan is not probably going to be the exact outcome. You can have a plan, but you will, you will end up in a place like, and even with my career and the things I do, it's like, I never thought I'd be doing commercials and whatever. Like that wasn't the plan, but it happened and it provides security for the kid. And now I'm on this weird side journey from comedy, even, but like comedy, I want to be the thing, but this is the thing that provides the security. And it's wow, you kind of fucked me up with that. Like sinning is not meeting the thing, because it's like, how many days do I not meet? Do I not rise to what I'm capable of?
Yeah. And then when you just look at it that way, it gives you more power. Yeah,
because it is on you. It's a choice in every moment. What are you doing
to achieve? Like, it's not really so much about plans. Like the abortion thing. Like, what can you live with? Yeah. Can you live with, like
the decision you made?
The decision you made. Yeah. It's eye-opening. I don't know where to go. I guess with the comedy thing, because it's interesting.
I love we're talking about abortion and comedy
So with Derek, the ultimate goal is to be Dave Chappelle. Not,
right.
I mean, and that's
no, but to be Derek fucking Poston,
to be the big comedian that without a doubt everyone says is the comedian.
Right.
But if that's not your ultimate goal, then you have a lot more. It's a different conversation.
But at the same time, even if it is the goal, hit Derek Poston's version and James Schrader's version of what could be the same sentence as a goal.
Yeah.
Are still two different things.
Yes.
And the path to any space, you look at Louis' path and Chappelle's path and Carlin's path, none of them were the same.
No, none of them were the same. But his point is, if you want to be on that Mount Rushmore, as so many comedians put it, there is there are things that have to be done.
There are commitments that have to be made.
Yeah, there are things you have to choose to do over other things. That has to be prioritized. If you want to be someone else, there's a lot of other options in between Mount Rushmore and like someone who doesn't do comedy at all.
Right, yeah.
Like there's plenty of people who are like the most famous comedians in the world, but no one puts them on their Mount Rushmore.
Right.
I mean, I think Kevin Hart's one of the greatest comedians in the world. Most people don't put him on their Mount Rushmore. Some people do, but he's not like a unanimously like he's the one. But I mean, how would not be the greatest thing in the world to be? He's like possibly one of maybe the most successful comedian, more successful than Dave Chappelle even.
Yeah.
The Mount Rushmore thing is more of a comedian on comedian.
Yeah, amongst
level,
your peers.
Amongst your peers, like how do your peers view you? Are you reinventing the game? And I think if you want to reinvent the game, if you want to be like, I dictate what comedy is. And not just what regular people think comedy is, what comedians think comedy is.
Right.
There are things that have to be sacrificed. This does have to be your only goal. That has to be your focus. But there's plenty of others. I mean, there's plenty of great comics that's not their goal.
Right.
They want to do other things. They want to write. They want to star in movies. They want to do all these things. And then you know what else? Ultimately, at some point, they might shift their goal and end up becoming Dave,
right,
the Mount
because
Rushmore
Dave did
thing.
The show. Dave did, he made movies.
It's all open. Yeah. But it's like if you're not on that trajectory, then how do you expect to get there? I think was the conversation.
Yeah. And that's the beautiful part about that conversation and about Derek is Derek does have this very clear laser focus between where I am now and where I want to be. Mm-hmm. And he sees the straight line, like he's looking through the forest and he's literally seeing between every single tree to the pasture on the other side. And there's part of me that's like, fuck, that's so like admirable, and I see that and I'm like, fuck, that's incredible to me, because I'm and I see the pasture, but I'm stopping the camp. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna hit the river for a little bit, and I'm gonna do these things along the way, but I still see the pasture and I plan on getting to the pasture. But then maybe at that point, like, and that's why, like, in my mind, and it was interesting. I was like, well, Derek, I got to do this, and this is a thing, and I got a kid, and I got these things that have to happen for da da da. And he was like, that's a lovely list of excuses.
It is.
And it is. While at the same time, also a reasonable list of excuses for what your version of the path is.
Exactly. But there is an element of, if you have all your list, you're just carrying more baggage. Sometimes you got to put the baggage down and go, okay, this is my baggage. How am I going to carry this so that I can get there? Instead of like, this is the reason why I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, like, it's like because I'm saying like, oh, you want to be there's a lot of things in between Mount Rushmore and not doing it at all. But all those people that are successful, they're still aiming at Mount Rushmore. It is you shoot for the moon, you'll end up amongst the stars situation. Like everyone has to be focused on the like, I have to be the best. Period.
Yeah. Period.
Or you're not even going to make
my
it
best,
to mediocre.
Yeah.
So it is like a sort of do or die situation. Like there are a lot of people with kids. I mean, like we have like 3 people I know this year just had kids. Mm-hmm. They're still out. It's just one of those things. It's like, it's an excuse if you let it be an excuse. I know plenty of people with kids that are like, I never hear about their kids. Not that I don't think you should hear about your kid. Mm-hmm. I love Daisy. She's awesome. But it is one of those things. It's like, well, it never comes up because they never talk about excuses. Mm-hmm. Because they're always there. They're always doing the things. Because there is no excuse. I think that's what he was trying to say. Yeah.
And I loved it. It was a hard, it was a question. It was a hard for
talk.
Night 1. Hey, welcome. We're so glad you're here. So glad you're staying with us, guys. I'm so glad. And then Night 1, Derek's like, what the fuck are you doing? And that was like it summed up like that was like the shortest version of this long thing that he said. And in it, none of it was ever, it was hard to hear because it was such a mirror of like the what the fuck are you doing was, and again, like your list, that's a great list of excuses, was very much like, fuck. Like everything he said was 100% accurate. And then I take it and my processing for the next 24 hours, like I couldn't sleep that night. It was crazy. I think I dreamed about it too. It was crazy. But it was also this thing, and I've been writing a bunch since I've been here this weekend at your house of kind of this reassessment of like what are my goals?
Yeah.
Because I feel like I've been lucky in opportunity. Uh-huh. And I've had these things that have allowed me to provide for a kid, because if I was just relying on comedy, I would not be able to pay for this child's life.
Yeah.
And I'm also, am I stuck in San Diego? Yeah. Because I'm not leaving my kid, and that's a decision. And I know that, but that's a decision that I'm like, that's not even on the table.
Yeah.
Because I'm not leaving this. I'm not just going to be that guy that's just like, I got a dream and a career, and see you, kid. I'll see you when you're 20. You know, like never going to happen. But it was this beautiful thing that drove me to really write, like, what am I doing? Like, if I have this much bandwidth, right? You have your 100% of bandwidth. How much of it am I doing? And what I realized was, like, I started thinking about that conversation with Derek, and I looked at my bandwidth, and I'm like, right now I feel like 50% of it is my kid.
Yeah.
Because I only have her 50% of the time. And then I'm like, all right, well, if that's the case, then let's say the other 50% should be comedy, because that's your goal, right?
Yeah.
But it's not. And when I really look at it, I'm like, of that 50%, 35 of it is dealing with all this shit that is the business and the commercials and consulting other things because it's more security for my kid. And then I'm like, so you're only putting, like, you used to put 98% of your bandwidth into comedy every single night. And writing, you were writing all day and doing stuff and da-da-da-da.
You date.
What do you,
You date.
What do you mean?
When you were doing comedy, you were married. You had someone that it was set. Dating is way more energy than being with. I mean,
and that's why I haven't
relationship
dated
is
in 4 years.
It's a lot of energy, but it is set versus.
Yes.
I've listened to your set. You talk about dating and like Tinder
Trying
and
to
stuff.
and stuff.
And
Yeah.
trying to. That's a lot of bandwidth.
It is, and it's a lot of
I'm not saying you shouldn't do it.
Right.
It's just there are these other elements of life that are part of that you're distracting.
Yeah, for sure. And I remember, like, I even caught that here. I was like, like Tinder, I have it on my phone because I'm a single guy, and it would be nice to meet an awesome person and kick some ass together, and build the life. But then Tinder throws this thing up that's like, hey, you haven't been on in like 2 weeks. Like, if you don't swipe, it's going to disappear. And all of a sudden I was sitting in your house and I hopped on and I was like, oh, I guess, and I'm like, and at one point I was like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
I'm not going to meet any of these people. I have no interest, like, I don't have, and that's like the joke, is like, I don't have the time for any of this. I am lonely, but I don't have time to, I don't have the extra bandwidth to give somebody what they deserve. And they do deserve, if they're going to, hop into this world with me, like, they deserve my time and appreciation and effort and all that. I don't have it. And it's just this weird thing of like, what the hell? And like I said, I wrote down, like, what the fuck are my goals? What is eating up my bandwidth?
Yeah.
How can I adjust the things that I can adjust to give me my bandwidth back?
Yeah.
And it's like, if it means like, hey, and that's the other problem is like, and I think Ari talked about this on the Solid podcast with Eric and Hassan, of like, there's creative freedom and financial freedom. And I'm in this space of, I had creative freedom, and then I got this opportunity that gave me financial freedom where, like, I'm good. I make these commercials. We're out of debt. We have some savings. Daisy has everything she needs. My life is fine. Like, we are not fearful of starving or having something happen that we can't. Like, we are fine.
Yes.
But to keep that going, and as I keep that going, more opportunities like that pop up. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, now I'm chasing the financial freedom.
And your standard of living is higher now.
Yeah, that's the well, yeah.
Because
and I've tried to
that
keep
money, you're
that.
like, I have to stay at this level. You can never go down.
Right.
And if anything, we got to go up because inflation. And
Yeah.
it becomes this whole
And you
rat
know,
race.
I get an email and some company is like, "Hey, we love what you did here. Can you do and help us?" And in my mind, I'm like, if I pull that off, that could be if I put the, you know, and like I've consulted with companies where like they reach out and we talk about their products, and I reach out to a group of comics that I know, and that feels good too. Like during COVID, like I kind of kept my little business going, and it was like this weird little, I created a marketing firm where I had a group of comics that were working with me, and I paid out like $38,000 to my friends. And in my mind, I'm like, no one's doing comedy. Everyone's broke. This is helping everybody. And now it's like, you know, these opportunities come in. I'm like, well, I can pay my friends, and that's always good. And I can add to our nut. And if I do this project and I take on this project, and I feel like I'm selective, because for a little bit there, it was like just we were just bombarded. Like that first Squatch commercial did so much that like my email was like, money in hand, will you make a thing, da-da-da. And even then I was saying no to a lot of it, but then some of it was just like, they're just like ready to hand me $20,000 to show up for a day. And I'm like, there's a kid here. I'm paying child support. I'm paying for rent. I got some credit card debt. Like, yeah. And then I felt dirty when I did it, because I was like, I didn't do this for the right reasons. I did this for money. And I felt dirty, you know. But it was interesting to write these things. I'm sitting in your guest room, and I'm like, where's my bandwidth going? How much am I actually putting to the thing that is my goal? Is like, my goal is to be a stand-up comic on the road, having fun. Like, and by that I mean doing the thing I love more than anything in the world, which is being on stage and performing and giving a fucking great night to people that need it. And I realized like, oh, you're putting like 12% of your bandwidth towards the thing that's actually in your head the most important thing to you.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And that's what I think the best thing that come out when Derek put that all into perspective for me. And then also seeing like what you guys are doing here, and Hassan, and just like, and Brian. And it is like, you guys are fucking 98%. This is it. This is
all we think about.
That's it. Morning till night.
Everything else falls at the wayside.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably why you brought it up, because you kind of came in with this energy of like, I want everything to be like it was in the good old days. Well, he wanted to let you know, like, this isn't the good old days.
No.
The fact that we're even all hanging out together as one, that doesn't happen. We're all so busy. We only see each other if we're all in the same show. We're all like working on a project. But even then, it's like, I see Jeffrey and Dylan on Sundays when we do our podcast, and then I see them on shows. That's
really?
Yeah, we only do breakfast when someone comes to town.
That's so funny. Which is funny because like,
it's like, oh,
it's
James
nice.
is here.
Let's all get together.
Yeah, but it's like, this isn't the old days, and I think that was what like spurred the whole thing. It's like, because in my mind I was
like I'm like when we were all there and we were all seeing each other and da-da-da. And so in my mind, that is what it was.
That doesn't exist.
But what's funny is when I come here, it seems like that's what's happening, because we all get together. So I'm like, oh, you guys are still doing it. This is fucking amazing. You're with your best friends. You're being creative. You're doing shows. You're writing all day. Oh, this is awesome.
But that is what's happening. But it is definitely, and I felt this way in San Diego in my first year of comedy. It's so. It's like this womb.
Yeah, it's warm and fuzzy.
It's fun. Everyone's hanging out. We're all standing in a circle at the end and smoking weed.
Telling jokes, laughing more than we've ever laughed ever.
But we're all like in our 30s now. Now it's like, do or die. Like, if I don't make this work, it was all for nothing. So that's the energy, I think. It's like, hey, we're at a point where it's like, if I don't pop, if I don't find a way to get on to the next level, I'm gonna get left behind. There's these kids behind me, and they're already past their warm fuzzy stage. Yeah, they're already like, let's go. I'm trying to make it.
Yeah, and that was when Derek laid that out. He's like, James, you're literally like back then it was 24/7. We're still 24/7. Yeah, and you're not. Because in my mind I was like, oh, I feel like, and in my, I think I knew the second time I was here, once the mothership opened, and I saw that, and I saw what the environment was and what was happening, I knew then in my head, like, and this sounds like woe is me, but it was more just an observation of like, I'm being left behind. I'm falling behind. I'm not being left. Like, they're doing what they're doing, which is what we were all doing 10 years ago, 8 years ago. They're still doing it. You're not.
And this is the second rendition. Like, we were all that way at the store.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys had that there too. Yeah.
And then, the pandemic happens and you sort of like, there was this hard reset almost. Like, so we did kind of get to have this like, kind of like soft. I mean, Austin was soft. I mean, even then it was, kids, everyone was trying to get up.
Yeah.
But it was much more open. There was lots of time for all levels. And now it's like people are, every day someone new moves here. And it's not just like new comics. It's like, oh no, this guy's a killer.
Yeah.
This guy killed it in Atlanta, and now they're ready to make an impact here.
Right. And they're in a place where when you kill, you can rise.
Yes. And so there is this element of like, I need to kill, and every day I need to be a harder killer because there's killers coming.
Right.
It's a very warrior mentality. Not like I'm fighting against other comics. It's just I have to maintain, or
I have to keep growing.
Yeah, I have to keep growing. I have to keep ascending, or I'll be the animal and they'll be the god,
It's beautiful.
It's all the same. Everything is the same.
And that's why, like, it's just another level. And it was funny because when I was like, well, Derek, I'm on a different path. And he's like, yeah. And then for Derek's mind, and I get it. Actually, I shouldn't even say for Derek, but for like being here and being in it and being in this like, this is the sphere of fucking top level, kick ass, fully committed. And I'm over here and I get to come like visit and walk around the sphere and see it when I'm here. And the sphere is nice to me. And like, I get to see glimpses of whatever. But then I go home and I'm in this tiny sphere where, again, the bandwidth isn't.
Yeah, and I think the thing about the bandwidth is important because you should. If I was in your position in San Diego, I would step back and I'd be like, well, am I doing what Zoltan did? Am I doing what Dustin Nickerson did? Because those are two people they were in San Diego.
Yeah.
But now they are like.
Yeah, Zoltan's in New York. Dustin's just killing it.
They're both killing it.
Yeah.
They're both, they are working comics. They are like at a level.
Yeah.
And it's like you have to be like, well, am I doing what they did? Because if I am, then I'm on the right track. If I'm not, then I got to be doing what they did at least.
Yeah.
Because that's a path.
Yeah.
And they were in San Diego. So that's how I would look at it if I was going to walk away from anything. It's like, okay, but I know people from San Diego who were in San Diego and popped off from San Diego. How can I emulate what they did?
Yeah. And take notes. And I feel like I am. It's funny. It's not funny. It makes me happy and it makes me sad. Both sides of it, because I do know that when my daughter showed up, there was a change. And the change was like this is like that's the thing, like with the nights I have her, me getting up. How many books am I not going to read? How many good nights? Mm-hmm. How many nights am I willing to give up of singing her to sleep and to go do 8 minutes somewhere?
Yeah, and also you got to think, you guys have a really nice life. Like, how many other things would you be willing? Would you be able to give up your boat? Would you be willing to not live by the beach? Those are all elements of like, I know, like those are all different kinds of sacrifices that it's like might have to be made one day.
Yeah.
In order to make the next step.
Yeah.
So I think that's also some of it. Like,
yeah, when I said that to Derek, I felt like his face was like, "What the fuck are you?" When I was like, "Dude," I was like, I take my daughter sailing and we go camping in an RV, and Derek was just like, "What the fuck?" Like, and none
of that has to do with stand-up.
None of it. But again, that has to do with the kid.
Did you have a boat when you were growing up?
Yes.
Oh, okay, well. That's the standard that you lived at.
That was yeah. I mean, we had a boat. My dad had an airplane. We were scuba diving and snorkeling in the ocean. Like,
But do you think that's necessary for a child? And if you don't give her those things, like, will she resent you? And I'm not saying that you shouldn't not give her those things.
No, resent you. No.
Like, it's like, from the like hardcore, like I'm going to make it to the Mount Rushmore. It's like, is that just more baggage that you're choosing to carry? That's slowing you down.
Yes. The answer is yes. Am I willing to carry it for her? The answer is also yes. And that's why I look at him like, and I think at some point I had this thought of my path my journey, or I shouldn't even say that. Like I was gonna say my journey is gonna take longer than other journeys, and I don't want to say it like that, longer, because I don't think there's an end to this journey.
No, there's not.
And so part of me, once I grasped that, and then there was a really good Michael Keaton quote. Did you ever see him? He was sitting at a table with a bunch of actors. I forget what it was, but he talked about, he's like, once you have kids, and he's like, I took off 10 years. He's like, I raised my kids. I spent every moment I possibly could with my kids to raise my kids. He's like, you will lose jobs, you will lose money, you will lose momentum, but you will never get that time back, ever.
Yeah.
And I think that hit me hard.
Yeah.
And I think the other part with like my kid is like, because I only have her half the time, like I don't get, it's not 7 nights, you know? I have her 50% of her nights I get. So if I give up 50% of those, that's a lot of nights I don't get that moment with my kid, right? So I heard that Michael Keaton thing, and I think that hit home of two things. One, this is forever, and I'm on this ride, and I love this ride.
Yeah.
And I know that when I'm in the pocket, when I'm doing the shows and I'm consistent and da-da-da-da, I know I can do this.
Yes.
I know I can do this for the rest of my life. I know I can be great. Greatest, I don't know. I can be my greatest. And I think that's the other thing, is I think I kind of got to the point where I was like, I'm learning what my potential is, and I'm at times impressing myself and also seeing where I'm letting myself down and seeing where, like, hey, you know, I'm every 3 steps forward. The next week when I have my kid and I'm not getting up, you know, I only get up 2 times that week.
Yeah.
That's 3 steps back. And then I'm 4 steps forward and I'm 2 steps back. And I'm like my growth is fucking up and down it, you know. But I remember hearing that, and I remember coming to this terms of like, this is all happening. Like all of it's happening. Whatever that movie was, Everything All at Once. Like the kid, the comedy, the career, the camping, the sailing, the things were like, if I, like, my life is incredible in the sense that I enjoy the ride so much. And part of me like took the finish line out of the equation and was like, this is just forever.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And so, and I think there was also another thing that was like, you know, some of the biggest guys that we talk about, like, they didn't pop till they were in their 50s. Now they were on very laser targeted paths.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And I think that was just one thing that, like, that one Michael Keaton quote, and it made sense to me. And then also realizing that, like, we are on the ride and we are doing well for what we're doing. And I'm enjoying it a lot, and I'm enjoying the time with my kid, and I'm enjoying the human that I'm raising.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, do I love this kid, and I'm so proud of who she is and the way she is. And I think that comes down to the experiences that I can provide for her and the things that we get to do together and the time that I take off to take grandma and her camping for 3 weeks, you know, things like that. Where it's like, one, for my mom, who's going to die someday, but now she's getting a relationship with her granddaughter, and my daughter's getting a relationship with her grandmother. And are all those things worth it to me in the long run of the whole thing? When I'm 80, am I going to wish I did more sets at the Madhouse on a Wednesday night instead of tuck my kid in? I don't think I will.
No, probably not.
And so there was this moment of like, the finish line. What fucking finish line? Death is the finish line.
Yeah.
Between now and then, am I going to keep trying to get better at all my skill sets and the things I love to do and do them? And that's a very different philosophy than Derek's in that moment.
Yeah, Derek is on, like, have you ever seen the Michael Jordan documentary?
Yeah.
That's Derek.
Yeah.
It's about basketball. That's it.
That's it. And that's
I don't
beautiful.
care who hates me in the end.
Yeah. And that's what's interesting. That's always been Derek. From the moment I've met Derek, that's been Derek. And whether it was how he approached comedy himself, how he approached other comedians, how he approached booking shows. He was like, we're playing the fucking, like, a Saturday night. He's like, I'm in charge of booking this weekend. Well, we're going to fucking war.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to have players on the court that aren't fucking killers.
Yeah.
So do you want the ball or not? You better show me you do, and you better be good at handling it and do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's been that since day one. And I also look at him and like it fuels me to be more focused. As intense as that was, like it was crazy. At one point in that conversation, like, should I go? Did you?
It was uncomfortable that I had to be there.
Was it? Was it uncomfortable for you to sit in there during it?
I mean, it's normally my position to be the person sitting next to Derek and not saying anything when that happens, because it's not the first time Derek has to like. Derek tells people how it is all the time.
Yeah.
And then I'm normally the one that's just sitting there quietly. And I'm like, oh man, this person's gonna be so upset. This must suck. And then and then every once in a while he'll say something, and I'm like, oh, I have a really good metaphor for this. If I say this right now, it's only gonna make it worse for that person. But I feel like I need to say it because it's true.
My biggest fear in that moment, because everything he said was true, and that was the beauty of Derek, because I've never had Derek drop his, like, and I would consider it passion. Like, yeah. The passion within him for this.
Yeah.
Is I haven't seen it in anyone else I know that is as laser focused and sharp and strong as Derek. And when he said it to me, in that moment, all of it was true. I agreed with every single thing he said about that path and those choices. And then my other fear, which is why I had in my head, was like, does he not want me to stay here? Am I detracting from his focus? Am I now eating bandwidth to the point where he sees me and he's like, we're not on parallel philosophies. I don't know if you should be here.
I think it's more like, why are you here? Do you know why you're here? Not like, you shouldn't be here because I don't want you here. It's like, do you even know why you're here? What's the point
of me being here with you guys and in this?
Yeah, have you ever thought, like, I think that's more of the question of, like, it's not like a personal thing for him. It's more like, what's
why am I in
game?
Austin for this week? And what's interesting is me coming here for this week, and this is clearly what I need to work on and adjust back home. Mm-hmm. But this is 7 days of laser focus that I do not get at home. Yeah. And so for me, maximizing that when I can is the goal. Mm-hmm. I get more creative and more done here creatively in 7 days than I get back home in 3 weeks.
Exactly. And I think he's asking, like, are you coming to church and then you're going to go out and, like, cut someone off in traffic when you go home?
It's fair. Yeah.
Do you like how I pulled that back around?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. And that's totally fair. And the truth is, yeah. And yes. But I also think it adjusts. I know every time I've left here, this is my 4th time coming. Mm-hmm. First time I ever came, I stayed with you guys. The last 2 times I stayed with Hassan and Brian. Mm-hmm. And now I'm back with you guys. And which I appreciate so much. And you have a lovely home, and thank you for having me.
Thank you. You're the first person to sleep on that couch. Don't break it.
Is that a new one? That's different than the last one?
Yeah.
Oh,
we
okay.
used to have like this
the big black
with the ottoman.
Oh, that was it. Yeah.
But my brother had this IKEA couch at his place, and I slept on it, and I was like, "This is pretty nice."
I'm comfortable in it. It's very comfortable.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
And you can put sheets on it. I like that.
Yeah.
Go my couch.
But I definitely feel like coming here, it's interesting you put it that way, is the church of seeing, of being reminded of all the visuals and all the I can't think of the word you used earlier, but the
symbolism.
The symbolism
yeah,
of what needs to happen
exactly.
and what can happen.
You came to commune with God so that when you go home, you can try to stay in communion.
Exactly.
But you're talking about someone like Derek who doesn't believe in going to church. You should just fucking do it.
Yeah.
He's the Nike, you think?
Well, that's the thing. Derek is the cult leader that doesn't know he's a cult leader. Well, in the sense is he's leading by example.
Yeah.
And not taking any excuses for somebody that's not on the path.
Yes.
Which is beautiful and hard to replicate. And there are many here that are doing it, but I would be shocked if others weren't as intense about it as Derek. I think he's on a higher level than most with the intensity?
I think some of that is yes, and then I think some of it is he has a natural capacity. He's naturally just, I mean, I think a lot of people are just as intense as Derek, except when their intensity is, I'm not ascending as fast as I want to. I have to go home and cry, i.e. me. That's an intensity. That's just as intense. It's just his intensity is, I mean, it's football, you know, to him. It's like, do work, see results.
Yeah.
He's already got the shoulders, you know, like
Right.
he's physically more capable
Right.
than a lot of
He
other
has the
comedians.
natural.
He is a natural,
Yeah.
and on top of that, he has the will,
Right.
which is rare. Not a lot of people have both. Some people have a lot of will and not a
not
lot
the
of
talent.
not
Yeah.
a lot of talent. And some people have a lot of talent and no will whatsoever. He has both, so that makes it seem like, I think it's even more so. But I would say most of the comics here, all the ones you've met that on shows,
Yeah.
that's all I think about. Like
Yeah.
you talk to them, like, "Hey, how you doing?" "Oh, I need to write more. Oh,
Yeah,
I
of
need
course.
to be better." And that's just all they say. That's, you can't ask them.
There's nothing else. There is nothing
the
else.
only thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just think it's, from him, it's like, not only is it passionate, it's hard to hold yourself up against him, because it's like, well,
He's Jordan. He's a guy, win or
Yeah.
lose, he's in the gym an hour early the next day shooting free throws.
yeah.
Like he's putting in the work and doing the thing. Good, bad, rainy,
Yes.
cold, hot, doesn't matter. There is one path, and the path is put in the work.
Yes.
Yeah. What's your goal? What do you want out of all this?
That's a good question. I've gone back and forth. I think I'm, well, I think, like I would describe you as kind of like a, what's it called? A Renaissance man.
Yeah.
Like you have a lot of interests and you want to explore all of them. And I always felt that way about myself as well. But being with Derek has allowed me to focus more on one thing than I've ever done in my life. I've never committed to one thing like I have stand-up. And then that is very liberating as well, because I did a lot of things where it's like, oh, I'm pretty good at this.
Right. You're good enough that you're like, not that you're half-assing it, but like you can do a bunch of things and you're pretty good.
Yeah, I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
But becoming great at something and like having that, seeing it in reality, like seeing him do it, seeing other people that I know aren't as talented as him but have put in the work and be able to overcome that and become more talented.
Yeah.
It really puts it into perspective. And so that's, I definitely feel like I'm leaning more that way, as you can grow. Like what you're saying, like you know, this isn't forever. Daisy's not always going to be 6.
Right.
You know, like 10 years from now when she's going off to college, you might go like, okay, now I got to buckle down and I'm out every night, every day. That's all I do.
Because now I'm not missing. She has a life. She has a thing. Right now I am her life.
Exactly.
You know?
And I think I've kind of come to that now. Like now I'm seeing it as like a real, you know, I was in the woods and I know that there's a spot, but I'm just kind of walking in that direction. And now I'm starting to see the clearing and I'm like, oh yeah, now I'm really buckling down. I've seen myself become more serious. I'd like to be the greatest, and I think I have to look at it that way if I want to get anywhere close. So that's where I come.
Shoot for the moon.
I've come to that point in my, because at first I wanted to just have fun, you know, and especially in San Diego felt that way. Like that was the intention in the first place, to get in. And being around people who take it as seriously as Derek and Hassan take it has really shifted my perspective. And now I see it as like, no, this is actually an attainable goal. If I say I'm going to be the greatest, I can be the greatest. I just have to work harder. And that's kind of how I feel now. I'd like to do other things as well, but not if they're going to detract from this.
What are those things?
I mean, I'd like to have kids.
Yeah.
I'd like to act. I'd like to write and do other things, you know, like we were saying, write a musical and stuff.
Right.
But I'm not interested in, like, working on any of that right now. Like, I have vague ideas that I put in books and, like, concepts and things that I write down in a journal every day. But that's more for when the opportunity arises. Right, because anything I get now, like if I wanted to act, I would have to take away from my stand-up time to go on auditions, to, be in bed earlier so I can go on auditions,
Right.
all these other things. So whereas I'd have to take on a whole new skill and like really nurture and take care of that.
And now you're splitting bandwidth.
And now you're splitting bandwidth. Whereas if I become the greatest comedian in the world, people will just put me in their movies.
Very true.
So that seems like the more appropriate focus of like, if people want to put me in something, I will 100% do it. But I'm not going out of this direction because I know if I make it to that end goal, all that other stuff will open up to me on its own without having to separate my bandwidth.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what I've come to.
And I definitely agree with that. That's my world's different in a sense where like I had this weird little opportunity and now there's more of these weird little opportunities. Like I said, like the rock opera, that wouldn't have happened unless somebody knew me from the thing and whatever. Yeah. And a buddy of mine the last year of COVID, we wrote a film together, an animated film that like we co-wrote it, and then he went off and made it, and I like did the voiceover for a thing, and like that we're working on. So like I have all these weird little irons in the fire because these opportunities showed up, and it does steal bandwidth. But even that, like the funny thing is like even those projects, I'm like this other shit is getting in the way of that too. Like I'm not even putting the bandwidth towards that I wish I was, or towards comedy that I wish I was, because this business shit and the making money thing is there, and again that provides the security that if for some reason Squatch called me tomorrow and said you're done, we're good for 2 years while I figure out the next steps, or we have another revenue stream that covers us and just keeps the nut, and my life goal is to keep the program small. But also I live in San Diego, so it's like fucking everything's expensive. Impossible. It's crazy. It's nuts. But it's like I look at all those things and I'm like having the kid, doing the film, writing the thing, like all creativity, like playing music, taking voice lessons. Like, is that helping my comedy? No and yes. Because the day will come, and I've already I sing on stage more now than I ever did before I started taking singing lessons, and I sound all right. And I'm more confident in putting myself, the true me that loves to sing, out there and perform out there. And like you said, if somebody offered you the role, you do it. Because you want to do those things. And I believe like all of those things do lend to the performance on the stage, do lend to the comedy. And the other thing with the experience, and this is my side, like the stuff with Daisy, like, me going camping and setting up a tent and building a fire and sitting next to a river
so that you can talk about it on
is
stage.
Where some of my best ideas come from. Me on the sailboat, when I go sailing, my preferred sailing is either me and Daisy or me by myself. I love taking people sailing because most people don't get to go sailing a lot, and it's like a beautiful thing to do in San Diego. But like my dream sail is alone.
Oh yeah.
Literally with a notebook and a big bottle of water. That's all I need, because like the ideas, those things is where I've found most. Living those moments is where my ideas get pulled from. So for me, that is part of my process.
That's so interesting. So you write more away from, because Derek writes a lot away from the stage.
Where does Derek write? Like I haven't seen.
His head.
Like, does he write shit down or no?
No.
That's fucking.
He's amazing.
I have forgotten more than I've ever
really
gotten on paper.
People underestimate his band, like what he can do in his brain. His capacity to remember.
He's so smart.
He's really smart. But I write the most when I'm going to perform.
Like waiting to go up, like you'll have your notebook like at the club, or like an hour
when
beforehand.
I'm going into the show, like
in your head, or you're like, I gotta write that.
Sometimes I'll go, like if I'm going to a show, I'll listen to one of my old recordings and listen to that, and like, do I want to do this joke? And then as I'm listening to it on the way, like I'll think of something
like a new tag or a thing. Yeah,
I write the most on my way to at open mics. I write a lot then. Watching people bomb really motivates me to write better material. I'll go to like really bad open mics and I'll come out with like a ton of new material because I'm just watching people talk about stuff, and it's like, why would you even talk about that? And it just motivates me to write something. I'm like, this would be interesting, I
do like comedy, being in it. Like I said, like being here, being around it. This is like the creative there are, and I think that's the other thing for me here, is I don't have any of the distractions. There is zero distraction. Like beside, but then here's one, like, after this, I have to take a phone call about a business thing that could be the difference of, like, literally if this one thing goes well, this could be like Daisy's college is paid for in 3 years.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm going to take that call.
Well, you also are just in having a kid is such a different element. Like, Derek and I don't have to think about the future. You have to think about, like, security. Like, even when we're talking about financial stuff, it's like, I guess I should be thinking more about, like, putting stuff away or this, that, and the other. But I don't live like that. I live in abundance. The idea that I might need that, I don't want to think that thought. It's like, I don't go to the doctor because I don't want to think about the thought of getting sick because I know that will make me sick.
Yeah.
So there is this sort of element of, like, no, there is no deficit. It is only abundance. The idea to prepare for deficit would hinder me.
But a farmer within abundance still has to plant the next year's crop to be in abundance.
Well, the farmer is independent on the land. I can go wherever I want.
That's
I've
true,
lived that way my whole
you might
life.
still take some seeds with you.
Yeah, but it's just a totally different, like, life perspective.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
you have a kid.
Right, and that's and I will say that too.
I don't have to think that way.
Like, there is a line that you kind of have once there is a child of, like, her life and security and safety is more important than any dream I have. Now, her seeing me kick ass, excel, express myself, and chase and live my dream is also hugely important.
Yeah.
So many kids wake up or grow up and their parents are not around. That's the other part. I'm around. I've spent more time with my kid than most people spend, like, because of the job I have, and I don't have that 9 to 5. And for the first till she went to school, we spent 24 hours a day together whenever we were together.
Yeah.
And in my job,
a lot of people
Dad,
don't get that.
they do not.
They never get that.
They never get that. And that's why I also know, like, I'm so blessed and I'm grateful for that I get that and I get to give that because she and I, we will, we are closer than I see a lot of people with their kids. But also showing her that, like, hey, you can do, like, everyone says you can do whatever you want. You can be whatever you can be. And they're saying that as a teacher that makes barely enough money to survive, that is, you can tell, is stressed out of their mind and not loving their career anymore, or their parent that works a 9 to 5 for some company that they're not thrilled about and they're stressed about money and da-da-da-da, but they're looking at the kid and being like, you can be anything. And the kid's like, can you? This is what you wanted to do? Like, and so I know that there is so much value in showing her that, like, this is what it looks like to live your dream.
Yeah.
But also, you and your security and safety come before that dream.
Yes.
And that's again, we're splitting bandwidth to make sure you're provided for while also I'm chasing the dream. And a part of me is like, that's beautiful. And that's the most beautiful. If that's the worst inner argument I have to have,
then you're probably not doing too bad.
And that's why I look at this and I'm like, I'm fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I am still terrified that everything's going to go away tomorrow, but I've put enough away that we're fine if it does for a little while till I figure out, get on my feet and figure out the next steps. But also, this ride is incredible, and she gets to see it and be a part of all of it. And hopefully I get to expose her to all of these things that she might grab onto one of them. She might grab onto that ukulele lesson.
Yeah.
And be like, I'm a fucking musician. She loves to sing. She's taken singing lessons with my singing teacher sometimes, and she's, played the ukulele. Like, and so for me, I'm like, I want to show you the world.
Yes.
Because, like, I grew up in a tiny town where kids were like, well, you either grow up to be a fisherman or a construction worker or a bartender. And if you stay here, you either drink, or fish, or both. And that's life. And if you own the construction company, you might have a good one. If you work at it, you're struggling your whole life. If you own the resort or the bar, you might have a decent life. If you were just a bartender, it's going to be a rough go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I had friends that I grew up with that never left the Keys, and their worldview was so tiny that I'm like, No, like Daisy has
most
to see
people,
everything.
if you never leave where you're from.
Right.
I mean, I go home and my brother's successful. Like he does sales for some big tech company. He makes good money.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we made different choices. He has a house. He has things I don't have. He's thinking about buying another house. But he is there. I was like, oh, well, if you buy another house, why don't you move out? You know, like, because he wants to travel, but there's all these reasons not to for these other things. And it's like, it's what you can live with. Like, if you need these things, then you're not Derek.
No, nor do I have to be.
You don't have to be. No one's asking you to be.
No.
You know? So it's like, Derek couldn't live your life, I guess what he's saying.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it comes down to. Like, well, what do you want out of life? Really, you know?
And from that standpoint, I'm on the path of what I want. Mm-hmm. And I think the part that worried me, or the part that hurt, was that I was fearful that Derek then looked at me and been like he lost respect for me. That was the fear that I had in that moment of like, yeah, but can you understand where I'm at? And he's like, and he's like, no, because there's one path. The path I'm on is the only path I see how I'm doing this. And you're not doing it. Mm-hmm. You're not even doing close to this path. And my fear there was my friend doesn't respect me anymore. Or he has, not that he doesn't, but he doesn't
respect you as a comedian.
He is, maybe, yeah. Or he has just lost respect for me in general. Mm. And that was a part that scared me, which is why the next day, and then naturally, like, we all went to bed. Mm-hmm. And then the whole next day, I didn't see Derek until, like, that afternoon.
Yeah.
And the conversations I was having with Derek in my head all day long. And then I finally, like I got to, like, it was the afternoon I saw Derek, and I, like, put my arm on. I said, hey, are we okay? He's like, yeah, buddy, what are you talking about? I was like, but, like, we're okay? Like, last night was intense.
It's personal. It's about comedy. I mean, we have a friend that just moved here. He has a daughter. She's in California. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have a place to stay here. He wants to stay with us. You're here. He's sleeping on couches right now.
Yeah.
Working Uber Eats so that he can be getting up down here because he knows that he needs to do. Mm-hmm. So it's like those are the choices he's making because he's like, I'm on this trajectory. This is what I'm doing. And I guess from Derek's perspective, it's like, you're not that.
Nope.
And you don't have to be that, but don't come here and pretend that's what you're doing. Just because you show up to church for Christmas and Easter doesn't mean that you're
on the path.
On the path.
What's interesting is I don't feel like I'm pretending.
I think it's the whole, it's just like the old days.
Well,
that narrative is hard to take because it's not. For that, I think the reason with the old days was like, I just remember when I was around everyone I knew. Mm-hmm. And I had these people that were my peers that I was around all the time. And that's where it feels like the old days is here. Is like, these are like, you guys are the people I know. You guys are the people this started with. But you should be that guy. And whenever I go to San Diego, they're always like, oh, everyone says when Derek was here, there was someone to look up to, blah, 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 blah. But they all feel like there's just no like community. Right. Maybe it's someone needs to be that, just be the person to take it upon themselves to be like, oh, I'm going to be the guy. Create the community. I'm going to like set an example. I'm going to hold a standard.
Yeah. And
everyone would follow suit. But it is just kind of like everyone there has this very meandering like, well, if it happens, it happens. And if they do have anything more than that, they just leave because there's no like competition or anything.
Right. That is the one thing with San Diego. It's like there's a bunch of stage time when I can, I do, and I go, and I get it, and that's great. But yeah, the growth from there is not. It's not. I mean, Dustin is gone.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's touring, he's doing that. He still lives there. His family's there. His kids are there. But Zoltan's in New York, and yeah, I mean, once you hit that, you leave. Because there's the next level of opportunities are elsewhere.
Yeah, and you're just not going to get better unless you're nervous to go up. And if you're following people who just started,
yeah,
or I mean, like there's plenty of people there that have been doing it for a long time, but they just haven't developed any further than they were like 7-8 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's like you're not going to, if there's no competition, there's no iron sharpening iron, you know?
Yeah. And I definitely feel like my progress is slowed. I feel it.
Yeah, you have to have that fear. You have to be like, oh my God, am I going to be able to follow this person?
Yeah.
That's everything. And you hear about that all the time here. Like, I mean, Cam Patterson's a young comic, but he will bury anyone. And then you see young comics, they're like, oh, Cam buried me on the first show, but then the second show I was able to follow him. Or, you know, I felt like I had a decent set. Yeah. And that's the set. And that's the growth. You have to have that, like, oh man, this person really just like pulled their dick out on stage. What am I going to do? Or else it's either just it's stagnant.
Yeah. I need it. And I'm thankful I have friends like you guys to hold up the mirror and be like, what the fuck? I mean, that's true. Know that.
I mean,
that's
it's good for you to come and like get up and like see like, okay, well, what are people doing?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, most of these shows, a lot of these people have been doing it like less than a quarter of the time you've been doing comedy.
Yeah.
A lot of them are only 3 years in. I would say the average comedian in Austin is probably like 3 to 4 years doing comedy, tops. And then like the outskirts are people like 7+.
Yeah. And in the 3 to 4s, it's a high level.
Yeah.
It's a high level.
It's a high 3 to 4.
Yeah. It's amazing.
It's cool.
It's pretty great.
So what did we learn?
Yeah, what did we learn? I'm not doing enough. I'm not on other, there's a lot. This week will be like, the last 3 times I was here, it was like this beautiful motivational, like, this is fucking great. This is so cool. I need to get out here as much as I can. How can I make that work? Like, because I look at that as like, this is increasing bandwidth.
Yeah.
This is having this, like, as weird as it sounds, like this distraction-free comedic creative getaway is increasing bandwidth towards comedy. This trip is that with also like, but like with the mirror held up, like, and it's interesting, and I owe that to you and Derek of like holding it up and being like, you're here, but are you? Why are you? What are you doing when you're not? You know. And
probably the biggest difference is Rogan's Club is open, and that's the standard Rogan sets. It's like, are you killing? If not, get the fuck out of the way.
Yeah, because there's someone that will.
Yeah.
And they're ready to.
Yeah.
And they've been putting in the time nonstop to do so. Yeah. I feel it. I see it. And I love the fact that I get to come. So.
It's awesome. A cool place to be.
It is a pretty great. It's a fucking great place to be. That's why I'm like, I might buy a house here. When the time comes, I think I'm going to buy a house here. We'll see.
And it's affordable outside the city.
That's the crazy part. Compared to where I am, it's like, buy a house here, rent out bedrooms to comics, and just have one for myself when I come. And
that's
eventually,
a good idea, yeah.
That's a thought, something like that.
That's not a bad idea at all. You'd probably like make money.
At least cover the mortgage. At least,
you
know, mortgage, insurance, and all the stuff, and then have a place, you know, just so I don't have to keep crashing on couches and stuff as a 42-year-old man. But, well, Sam Lopez, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. This is fun. I love talking religion.
I do too. That was wonderful.
And comedy is religion. Big C comedy.
And I want to say, like, you have such kindness in you, and seeing you and Derek as a couple is so, like, I've been married twice. I've got 2 divorces under my belt, and I see how you guys communicate with each other, and the pure honesty and the unfiltered appreciation for just the person being them, and it makes me think love is possible.
That's so nice. Everyone always says that, and I'm like, it's really about being honest.
It so is, and like, and I wonder how much comedy comes into that, because like the pure honesty that's on stage might carry over to the fact. And I ran into that with I don't like saying names and stuff, but like my last wife, my ex-wife, where there were times when I would be like, oh, I have to remember that you are not a comedian. I have to remember that I can't talk to you, or at least I shouldn't, or whatever it is. I can't talk to you like I talk to all of my best friends, even though you're my best friend.
Yeah.
But my other best friends, I can literally say anything, and they know it's love. Where here... Yeah,
it is weird, and it is... especially hard. I hate to put women in a box like this, but there is a thing amongst women where we're not completely honest with each other. You know, like being a good female friend is apparently like just taking that person's side no matter what. And I've lost a lot of girlfriends that way. Not like girls I was dating, but friends that are girls. Because I like, oh no, I don't agree with you. I don't think that's right. Or, you know, I didn't take their side. And I think that's a struggle, and I don't know what that's about. But I know plenty of women who aren't like that. And not just exclusively female comedians.
Yeah.
But I don't know what that is so much. That's something we should look into as a gender.
I'll let you head that
people,
up.
Yeah.
But thank you for your hospitality, your kindness, your love, and thanks for being on the podcast.
Thanks for having me. This is fun. We were human.
Yeah, we were definitely human and talked about the experience. Do you want to plug your website, your podcast with the boys? Anything?
Follow me on Instagram at Best Sam Lopez. Please follow me there. I need more followers. I don't really post anything.
So it won't nag you. It won't be an annoying
just
follow.
Every once in a while you see a picture of me doing comedy, and you know that's cool. Tune into Momcats on the Dylan Sullivan Show Network. Momcats, Dylan Sullivan Show Network. I'm his subsidiary. I'm not. I don't own anything. I'm just talent. Oh, I'm looking this way.
Anyway, wherever you want.
And come to Bottom of the Barrel on Tuesdays at the Mothership. It's hard to get tickets. Get them ahead of time.
Yeah, and it's a great show. Definitely, if you are in Austin, Bottom of the Barrel, like go any night that you can get tickets. That's a beauty. One, there's comedy happening everywhere in this town, and the Mothership is, call it the top of the pyramid, but there's great comedy happening everywhere. But Bottom of the Barrel specifically, get tickets early. Like go right
James
now.
will be there this week.
I will be there.
I guess this won't be out by then.
No, this won't. But like whatever it takes for you to get tickets whenever they're available for the next show that you can go to on a Tuesday night. Bottom of the Barrel is where you will see some of the best comedians in the world, as well as just the local guys here, but like in the world. Pop in, grab a piece of paper out of a bucket, read it, and it has anything that anyone could imagine. The audience fills in the things and puts them in the buckets, and they play.
Yeah, I call it game night.
It is game night. It is. And watching the caliber of comics and the people, the most famous comedians that you can imagine will sometimes be there and pop in. And when they do, it's a treat just to see them be put in the same position as the person that's 3 years in or 10 years in or whatever, that's not famous or has Netflix specials, but they're all put on the spot to try to figure out how to take this idea and make something work. And it's the most fun kind of just to watch stuff come to life.
It's fun. And a lot of comics will take stuff and use it on stage later on.
Later, it becomes bits later. Yeah. So very fun. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. Call your mothers. Love yourself. Yeah. Be kinder to the world.
Call your dad, too.
Yeah, call your dad. Call him, too.
Sorry about your dad, but...
I talk to him. I talk to him all the time. Yeah. He's dead, but I talk to him. He hasn't talked back. That's good. Besides in dreams.
You said in dreams.
I've had 3 good conversations with him in dreams that I totally think are real. To the point where I wake up and I call my brother. I'm like, I just talked to Dad. Things are good.
Yeah, so dream about your parents.
Yeah. See ya. Thank you.
That was fun.
That was so fun.
Oh, hell yeah.
Thank you.
That was really good.
How long did we go? I felt like we went really long.
Hour and 50.